and welcome to the news on Canal the English. I am Ellie Smith. Once again, good evening. The headlines. Inspired threat from Katu, classes resume today throughout the national territory of Cameroon. The second term is believed to be the shortest and the most decisive in the academic year. The new year has started with series of fire-consuming houses in both Douala and Yaoundé. The only good thing in this succession of catastrophes is that lives are not lost, but properties worth millions have gone up in flames. But who is going to pay for the spoils? To most traders, especially those in the wholesales and even retail businesses, the end of the year is when they make bricks business through exorbitant prices. However, petty vendors who have not been able to dispose of their merchandise, it is now to think or to know and look for strategies on how to dispose of the excesses that they had. In this report, our reporters went out into the market in the city of Yaoundé to find out what they will do with those merchandise. Those were the headlines. Once again, good evening and a very warm welcome here on Canal the English. As we announced at the introduction of this news, wildfire has consumed a building in Douala, rendering its occupants homeless. The occupant of the apartment is said to have collapsed after noticing the gravity of the incident. On the spot was Ndi Morin.
Panic, confusion and consternation greeted the Daido neighborhood in Douala, precisely behind Pharmacie de la Rive. Thick smoke could be seen in the air after wild flames consumed a building. The origin of the flames are yet to be established, although no human life was lost. Fire completely engulfed the entire building, making it difficult to save property. The role of firefighters was to prevent the fire from consuming nearby buildings. Material damage is enormous. The proprietor of the building is said to have collapsed after noticing the gravity of the incident. She was immediately rushed to the hospital by firefighters. Though it took hours for them to quench the flames, firefighters succeeded to prevent the fire from consuming other nearby buildings.
We'll be coming back to another series of succession of fires in the nation's political capitals in various neighborhoods. Before coming back to that incident of flames in the capital during the weekend, let's come back to another major story. That is, over 90% of pupils, students and teachers in public and private schools in Cameroon have begun classes for the second term. In Douala, pupils, students and teachers have taken the commitment to confront this year with all determination needed, because, according to them, the second term is the shortest and most decisive. Ndi Morin with more.
Vous savez, nous lançons des congés. Le seul conseil que je peux vous donner, c'est d'oublier les fêtes. Les fêtes sont terminées.
This is a moral conduct to be upheld by students of Government High School Yaki in Douala. The principal believes such guideline rules should be applied from the first day of classes.
I ask them to work very, very hard in order to success in their different exams.
Face a similar measure at Government Bilingual High School, Brazzaville. The principal has instructed teachers to work towards the coverage of the school program by 80%, considering that the second term is the shortest and most decisive on the school calendar. Classes are effective.
This is a very short and decisive term. As the principal spoke to them this morning, he informed all students that even those who performed poorly in the first term, they still have a second chance to catch up with what they lost during the first term. So it is in their interest to do their maximum best to improve upon their results.
At Government High School Newbell, the school at 10 a.m. could be taken for a graveyard. The principal has elaborated a program in such a way that examination classes concentrate more on their lessons. She wants a 100% success in end-of-course official examinations.
For this new term, I have decided to
to make sure I give more exercises to my children so that with the revisions and practice, they may do better than they did in the first term.
Other schools have laid emphasis on continuous assessment, which will enable them follow up students, identify and solve their problems. The second term is also characterized by so many public holidays. More reason why students have to immediately get down to work on the first day of the second term.
Still on the reopening of school this today, the second term examination. If you could recall, at the resumption of this academic year, there was a kind of euphoria on the use of metal detectors. But some, 5 months after, have abandoned the use of metal detectors, while others have stuck to their guns. Once again, Ndi Morin.
It is hard to find security officers in schools these days, safeguarding, protecting and scaring students from all sorts of malpractices. There are those giving way to metal detectors used in the search of students and other persons entering the school campus. On the first day of the second term, everybody is scanned.
Security measures that we have taken since the beginning of the year, and we are continuing with those measures.
Some schools still hold tight to these security measures, which started some 5 months ago. Though security guards act as I-7s, most often the metal detector is abandoned and only comes out when cameras are around. This is the case with this school.
Yeah, metal detector. We have it at the level of at the gate, and we have also a text, a register when a visitor put his name and the report card is given.
At Government High School Aqua, the principal told us as a result of growing insecurity in the city of Douala and around the school campus, they are forced to search students at the start and at the end of classes.
Les mesures de sécurité que nous prenons ne sont pas temporaires, elles sont continuelles parce que
From her analysis, the number of dangerous weapons caught with students have reduced significantly, though they still find mobile phones in their bags. Critics hold that security measures have reduced significantly in most schools, even though the country is continuously threatened by terror group Boko Haram.
A note: after the threat from Katu to strike today on the alleged marginalization of the Anglophone educational system in Cameroon, as they claim that Anglophones are being, there is an attempt by the government to Francophonize the Anglophone educational system, and the fruitless negotiation with the governor of the Northwest region. We hear that they are now in Yaoundé for a meeting with the ministers of higher education and the minister of basic education. This meeting, our correspondent told us, started at 4 p.m. and as at now, we have not had any outcome from the meeting, and we will be keeping you updated on the outcome of the meeting between Katu and the ministers of higher and basic education. Still in the educational the environment, we know all that today is the resumption of the 2015-2016 second term in the academic year. And in one locality, that is a government school, Bafia Town, today the opening is good, but the atmosphere there is very little, or there is nothing appealing to see there, because the infrastructure is something very, very bad. And that is where our correspondent Beatrice Ngamo went to witness how the school opened in Bafia.
A hen house, kitchen, garage, but in reality, the building in local construction material is a twin classroom for pupils from class 1 to 6. 6 pupils per bench is the formula here. Not easy for the kids to be attentive to the teacher's explanation, as sounds are flowing helter-skelter on this first day of the second term of 2015-2016 academic year, January 4. A shed constructed just like small London for the teacher. In the past, it is in this house in total construction site that lessons were given to the about 176 pupils. The children find solutions to the heavy sunshine using straw to manage climate change. The absence of latrine, another matter of great concern. Pupils, teachers and persons living around the school vicinity, situated in the center of Bafia town, defecate around the school, an ideal area where the children can contact illnesses. The respect of patriotic values is a reality here. The director of the school launches an appeal to the power that be to come to the aid of these little angels, the leaders of tomorrow. Madame Mogufan is equally appealing to people of goodwill to come to the aid of these children in a school created in 2013. Meanwhile, the situation notwithstanding, these very young ones are happy, very happy to be back in school, especially with the many dreams of becoming future doctors, pilots, generals, and what have you.
That is your 21st century school in a possibly or aspiring emerging Cameroon. Well, we come back to Yaoundé, where we spoke about the merry-go-round of flames. Fire incidents occur on daily basis in different neighborhoods of Yaoundé. That is Etudi, Ngusso, Obili. The list remains endless. More on the weekends of flames in Yaoundé. Beatrice Ngemo.
Fire, fire is the shout in almost all the neighborhoods in the nation's capital. At the Ngusso neighborhood are 3 workshops on flame, constructed with temporary building material. It was but normal for the fire to go wild. Because the population guessed this oxygen bottle which surely exploded. It needed the efforts of 2 different firefighter squads from Etudi and Mimboman, alongside contribution of the population to put off the damaging flames. That was searching for ways to reach neighboring buildings, the case of the Ngusso pharmacy. Obili, another neighborhood in Yaoundé, visited by same guests. In the wee hour of the weekend, a workshop was destroyed by fire. The cause, the inhabitants said supposed drug smokers who in the course of their business had created a fire incident. The population and firefighters helped put off the flames also. But this not without material damages, as both incidents recorded enormous destruction, but fortunately enough, there were no loss in human lives. Ngusso and Obili comes to add to that of Etudi and the others.
Still in Yaoundé, today, the 4th day of January, marks the World Braille Day. It was an occasion to visit some rehabilitation centers where children learn with Braille. For more, we have the correspondent of Carol Kemaju.
Although blind, Alice can write and read in Braille using a slate and stylus. Blind from birth, Alice is happy to share a common classroom with her peers who are normal. All this thanks to the inclusive education system recently initiated in Cameroon. Even with their disability, these children are given the opportunity to acquire knowledge.
When the child have already acquired the knowledge that these 6 dots that we are seeing we are reading it like this, then it's from left to right. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When the child have already known that, you can give the child a Braille paper, a slate and a stylus.
Learning Braille not being easy, teachers need to be patient with these children who are getting acquainted to this new writing system.
You know, when a child is visually impaired, it's really difficult. There are some of them that are even in primary 4, they don't know the Braille. Even to write their name, they don't know. So it's not easy. It's not easy to teach those children.
Writing in Braille for blind children is a difficult task since there are some rules to master from the onset. But when you get used to, everything becomes easy. Braille is a writing system in which letters are represented by raised dots, arranged in 3 rows of 2 dots each, and read using the fingertips left to right. So blinds have a writing mechanism created for them.
The end of year is around. That is the time when Christmas was hovering and New Year, when all businessmen and women, especially retailers or the petty traders, were making brisk business. But now when the festivities are over, what do they do with the toys and other goodies that they bought to be sold, sometimes with exorbitant prices? That is exactly what our reporter and her team, that is Beatrice Ngamo, went out downtown to find out and came back with this report.
Filmed few days to Christmas celebration in front of a Yaoundé Central Market and some hotspots around town. The area was crowded with Christmas toys, lights, decorations of all types and sizes, alongside all that goes with the end-of-year festivities colors for household. Really time for brisk and healthy business for all. The picture and ambience this Monday, January 4th, 2016, was different altogether. The colors, toys, gifts, decors, and all are gone. According to the small Christmas vendors, they are not gone for good. The feasting is over, but the rest of these goods have been preserved, saved for future use. That is when December announces herself at the end of the year 2016. With the festive period over, most of the small vendors changes business line also. They return to their original petty businesses, sales of small electrical connections and appliances, work tools, 2016 diary, amongst many. These are students and pupils who were hawking for Christmas and New Year preparation, and even their back-to-school money have all left for school. January often comes with slow economic activities compared to the hustling and bustling that characterize the month of December. Nostalgic it is for many, time to catch their breath and forced to begin the new year.
Used before, when Christmas was around or New Year, a greeting card or sent a letter by mail, but it seems as if those methods are now gone. But this time around, most ways that people use to send their wishes is through text messages. That is exactly what our reporter Joel Dombo went out in the town of Yaoundé to find out what method of communication did they use to send their happy Christmas or New Year wishes. Let's find out what transpired from her report.
Millions of text messages sent and received over the past 2 weeks. Clear observation, New Year wishes today have turned high-tech.
Numerous, I cannot count. Hundreds message.
An ICT era so enshrined that one may wonder how we used to say Happy New Year before the venue of cell phones. Answer, greetings cards. The scarcity of these cards in our vocabulary of best wishes today does not mean it no longer exists. Proof, Ngulu is a card seller at the Avenue Kennedy area in Yaoundé. His testimony, nothing to do with the smile on the faces of most vendors during this feast period.
Les dernières cartes sont vendues dans les années 2000. Bon, après, avec l'arrivée de l'informatique et la téléphonie, les cartes devraient avoir perdu la valeur au Cameroun, bien sûr. Voilà, par exemple, un stock de plus de 500 cartes, plus de 400 000 stockés. Un 31 décembre jusqu'au 4, je ne parviens pas à encaisser 30 000. Bon, c'est les responsables, ça veut dire les employés. Ils partent donner à leur patron, puisque eux aussi ne peuvent pas utiliser les messages. Donc il n'y a que quelques personnes. Peut-être soit ils vont envoyer un ministre, soit ils vont envoyer un directeur.
For the few who received a greeting card, the magic of this carton paper did operate.
Yes, I received some. very few, not a lot. I feel very happy, and I can say that I'm viewing it every day. It is very interesting. We must modernize it through computer services.
Blending high-tech with old-tech may be a solution for greetings cards.
All habits die certainly hard, and no matter how technologically savvy you may be, it cannot beat the old method of using greeting cards because it stays. From another wishes to another, this time around, during the end-year address to the nation by President Paul Biya, he made certain announcements, but one that caught most was that the allowances to children will be increased, that is, to people who receive those allowances, and the number is just 10%. But to those lucky few, it was a good news. Tabby Clarkson has more.
His traditional end-of-year address to the nation, President Paul Biya last December 31st made certain announcements, notably that to increase family allowances of workers. This announcement, which for now concern just 10% of the population, appears to be good news.
It's a good news, but now what we are waiting is the color and the step. Small step, big step, it will depend. Those having a work rules by labor code, but also those employed by the government, by the state or any public company.
Many are those Cameroonians who are still worried on the effectiveness of the presidential family allowance increment.
It's obvious that we should have it because some computation show that it's possible, because you know the National Social Insurance Fund is losing money in retirement pen system, and so to have the balance is just this allowance that permit the National Social Insurance Fund to have a balance of 25 billion at the end of the year. So I think that this branch can gather at least 40 billion, and you think that is possible.
At the National Social Insurance Fund, the presidential news is also very welcoming. As a reminder, it's since 1985 that news of an increase on family allowance.
Out of Africa, we go to Asia, the land of the second world economy, that is China, where trading on China's stock market has been suspended after the market dramatically plunged and triggered a new system meant to limit volatility of the market. The blue chip CSI 300 index dropped 7%, while the benchmark Shanghai Composite Index fell 6.9%. The technology-heavy Shenzhen Composite was the worst performance, and it fell by more than 8%. What a strange way, but to be clear, not a very good way to begin the year to most stockbrokers and investors. And as the saying goes, when it's bad in China, the whole stock market around the world catches cold. And it is on that we'll be putting an end to our news tonight. And it was a great pleasure sitting in here for you, presenting this news. Tomorrow you'll be in the company of Leslie Fombo. Until then, have a nice evening.